Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since I made a video, but in light of Friday night, I thought I'd make one. If you're not sure about what happened, a bunch of oxygen-thieving Nazis from the National Socialist Network turned up with knives at an anti-fascist fundraiser gig in Thornbury in Melbourne.
A group of neo-Nazis has squared off with anti-fascists in a terrifying brawl that took over Thornbury's main street. As Adam Hegarty reports, witnesses say some were armed with knives.
The event was in support of anti-fascist researchers from the White Rose Society and the Black People's Union for Indigenous Solidarity. The members of the NSN came to fuck around, and oh boy did they find out, fleeing after being confronted by anti-fascist skinheads and other comrades.
Dressed in black and balaclavas, they still stood out. A chair picked up and hurled. This is High Street Thornbury on a Friday night. An all-out violent brawl. On one side, a dozen of Melbourne's neo-Nazi antagonisers. On the other, enraged anti-fascists.
One brave Nazi hid in a restaurant and cowered while members of the public were forced to protect them.
Inside the Thornbury Tap House, this man takes refuge, hiding out in a booth. He waits for his pursuers to pass as puzzled staff come to his aid.
Now known as Nazi Cinderella, left their shoe behind at the ball as they bravely ran away. Fucking embarrassing considering these Nazis have their own private boxing gym and coaching through Legacy Boxing Gym owned by NSN member Timothy Lutz. The beatdowners left their Telegram channels the quietest I've ever seen them, while they again lick their wounds after another major L. Silly me thought it's an uncontroversial position to fight back against knife-wielding Nazis, but a bunch of conservatives on twitter.com are losing their minds in the comments of Channel 9's report, trying to "but Antifa" the situation and sanitize the reputation of Nazis. So I thought we could have a look at some of these comments and judge these sad little Nazi apologists. Preston, who wanted to just ask questions of who was worse, neo-Nazis who want to create an ethno-state through violence against marginalised people and whose white supremacist ideology has resulted in the deaths of millions of people, or Antifa who say, nah, that's fucked, fuck off. His mate Fozzie wants to know the difference between National Socialism and socialism. I don't know why he doesn't just ask his Nazi mate Drew that he was begging to give a platform to speak in a Twitter space the other night.
All right, Fozzie, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
A couple of quick things. First, you should definitely bring Drew up. Alternative Media Watch might have like a fit of rage, but Drew's a National Socialist. He's a very intelligent individual. Like I highly regard like having a conversation with him. Like we don't agree on a lot, to be completely honest with you, but he's like a good mate.
Mikamius, who thinks people should wake up to what Antifa has a history of doing. He's more upset that a few buildings got destroyed in Portland than any of the mass shootings perpetrated by neo-Nazis inspired by their insidious and hateful ideology. It's astounding why these fucks can never just come out and say Nazism is bad and that's it. They always have to say but. There's always a but to it. Thanks, Mikamius, for coming to the defense of a group that revere the Nazi who killed 51 people in Christchurch and whose leader, Tom Sewell, admitted to trying to recruit. Very brave heroes you all are. Of this group of Nazi apologists, Ben from Australian Talk, who appears on Christian white nationalist Elijah Schaffer's show regularly to spread anti-Semitism.
It is just Trump, Trump, Trump. So there's commercial viability here for it, and who's going to profit from that? Elijah, who are the major CEOs and stockholders of the largest corporations in the United States? Where do they hail from?
Where do the owners of media networks? Like,
Yeah. Who are those dudes?
There's pretty much not even a right-wing media group that isn't somewhat controlled by the same types of people. And that's 100% verifiable. To the point that right-wing people, I stated this, there is a lot of people, I just tweeted this out the other day, a lot of people that I've genuinely been nice to, helped, everything, and I'll never say names on here, I never even bring allusion to that, but who have completely severed ties with me for just making polls on Twitter that questioned the authority of a certain nationality and group. Just a poll, not even my opinion, asking the public their opinion about them. They go, to prove that they're not in control, we don't blacklist you. We're blacklisting you and controlling you. And I won't say where. All hail Illuminati. And we did it because the Illuminati is funding this show. The show's funded by Tel Aviv Incorporated.
Well, he thinks knives in the street aren't good, and I'll agree. But he lacks the fortitude to say who actually had the knives, because the ones with the knives were the Nazis.
violence.
I thought they were filming a movie, and some of the men with the balaclavas were sort of waving their knives around. When I kept driving, I noticed that people were sort of turning around, so they must have been going for quite a distance.
See, these guys, these conservatives, are the ones who sit in Twitter spaces talking about how queer people should just shut the fuck up and go back into the closet, how The Voice is a conspiracy by the WEF for land grabs, and how Jews run the world. They have more in common with Nazis than their self-awareness deficit will allow them to process. Richie thinks that anti-fascists were the one causing trouble again at a gig they organised and Nazis showed up to. The solution? Just ignore them, which as history shows us is the perfect solution to Nazis, and ignoring them is exactly how they were stopped from conquering Europe. We just pretended they didn't exist and they all went away. Johnny thinks that these people aren't actually Nazis. They are just concerned citizens who oppose the trans ideology that is trying to take over women's sports and bathrooms. Never mind the Nazi salutes and the worshipping of Hitler though, hey Johnny? You know, the fact we can identify one of them from the footage alone, Ethan Hendren, thanks to the great work of anti-fascists from the White Rose Society. Tireless work outs these Nazis you've come to obfuscate for. Jew33, nothing sus there, thinks that it's more believable it was tooth fairies fighting Antifa, but also thinks that it doesn't make you a bad person to hate Jews. Bag Upon Paper thinks that Antifa are just as bad as the dozens or so Nazis with knives because we outnumber the Nazis and it's some kind of numbers game. Very smart person. Seraphista thinks that Nazis deserve the right to speak just like any ideology, including pedos, and Antifa are evil authoritarians for disagreeing. Yeah, nah, how about you get fucked? How do we actually know they were Nazis? The communist brown shirts said so? Well, because famously the brown shirts were communists, right? Oh no, wait, they were Nazis too. Heaps of very intelligent people in these comments with the take that Nazis were socialists because National Socialism has the word socialism in it. Outing themselves as dense people who haven't picked up a history book since high school. Suze, who thinks Antifa are the same as Nazis because she believes they are funded by Soros, who is a Nazi. Her proof? This photo of a young boy with Hitler. One quick Google search reveals that the person she thinks is Soros is actually Victor Jr., the son of a prominent Nazi, Victor Lutz, taken in 1939 when Soros was 9 years old. This kid doesn't look 9 years old. The attempt to both sides the issues of Nazis with knives attacking people in the streets minimises the pattern of escalating behaviour that we are seeing from the NSN, who are emboldened by the hate these accounts peddle. Conservatives chomping at the bit to sanitise the violence of Nazis by making false comparisons to anti-fascists defending themselves is why anti-fascism is so important. If you want to push back and drive these Nazi scum out of our society, there's many ways you can help. There's an upcoming protest next Saturday, the 23rd, in Sunshine West, Melbourne. Or, if you can afford to, you can support the great work of the White Rose Society by donating to their fundraiser on Chuffed. The link for both these will be in the description below.